comparing whole numbers and also comparing decimals. They kind of are related. When we compare numbers, when we look at them and decide are they the same, is one bigger, is one smaller, we find that they are either equal or they're not equal. All right? If they're equal, they form what is called an equation. If they are not equal, they form something called an inequality. And if they are an inequality, we indicate this by drawing that symbol. In other words, it looks like not equal. That's an inequality. We compare numbers this year. We'll be comparing numbers using greater than, less than, or equal to. A lot of students have trouble with the greater than and less than symbols. And they tell me things like, well, the alligator's mouth does this, but they can't say, is this greater than or less than? All right, well, think about it. When we read from left to right. All right, we always read from left to right. So when we read a greater than or a less than symbol, we will read it left to right. If we were to look at this symbol right here, we start on the left and we go to the right. We can tell that the wider side is here, so this would be a greater than symbol. Here, if we start on the left and we go to the right, we can see that the smaller end is on the left. This would be a less than symbol. So when you look at it from left to right to decide what it is. There are two ways that you can compare numbers. You can use a number line, or you can stacking the numbers and comparing place values. Now, if you're using a number line, numbers to the right of the number line are greater than numbers to the left. And the same thing is true. Numbers to the left are less than numbers to the right. Let's say we're comparing 209 with 214, and we're using a number line. So we draw out our number line, and we identify 209, and we identify 214. Well, we notice that 209 is to the left of 214. All right, numbers to the left are less than numbers to the right. So we would say that 209 is less than 214 because this one is on the left of this. All right. There are students who love doing number lines, and they find this very effective because they like to draw, and they really enjoy doing the number lines. Now, if you don't particularly like to draw, or you find this other way a little more helpful, here's another way. You can also compare numbers by stacking them on top of the other and then comparing the place values. For example, compare 7,677 and 7,442. What would go in the circle? Well, stack the numbers, lining them up in the ones place. All right, we've got them all lined up. Start on the far left and compare. Well, we can see that on the far left, both of these are sevens. When they're the same number, you move on to the next place value. All right, I move on to the next one. I see a 6 and I see a 4. Well, I automatically know that 6 is larger than 4, so I don't even have to go any further. I can stop right there, and I can say, well, I know 6 is more than 4, so this number must be bigger. So 7,677 is greater than 7,442. I don't have to even go on any further. I can stop there. I already know. I already have my answer. Now, this same idea of comparing whole numbers can be applied to comparing decimals. Now, you can either use the number line or you can stack the decimal numbers. When you stack them, though, make sure that you line up the decimal points and start comparing from the far left. Here's an example. You have 7/10 and 7/1000. What would go in the circle? Well, we've lined them up with our decimal points right in line. We've lined up the place values. All right, I can see that 7 is greater than 0. I already know the answer to my question here. 7 is greater than 0. I don't have to go on to the next ones. I already have my answer. I know that 7 is greater than 0, so I know that 7/10 is greater than 7/1000. 7/1000. Another thing you can do, you can either add or annex zeros to the right of a decimal without changing its value. You can also take away zeros without changing its value, as long as they're to the right, not to the left. That'll make a difference. This might make the decimals easier to compare to do this. Here's an example. 45 hundredths, all right, what goes in the big circle. And here we have 450 thousandths. I have students that will automatically say, oh, this must be smaller because it's only 2 place values, this one's 3. Or they'll say this is automatically bigger. Let's take a look. We can place a 0, remember, to the right of a decimal without changing its value. So let's place a 0 here to the right of this decimal. This is still 45 hundredths, you could say, or 450 thousandths. It's the same number now as this one. All right? I haven't changed its value. So now it's the same number on both sides. I know this is equal to. Okay. Let's try some examples here. Here we have, in the first one, 4,362, 4,326. If we stack them, we know here these are both 4. Okay, got to move to the next decimal, to the next place value, sorry. These are both 3. Can't come, all right, move on to the next place value. 6 and 2. 6 and 2. I know that 6 is bigger than 2. It is greater than 2. Excuse me. I don't have to go to the last place value. I already have my answer. So I know that 4,362 is greater than 4,326. Here's the next one. If we stack these and compare place value, start on the far left. They're both 6. All right, move on to the next place value. Oh, they're both 3. Move on to the next place value. Oh my, they're both 1. Move on to the next place value. Well, I know 7 is bigger than 0. So this number would be greater than. This one is less than. All right, and remember when we show our symbols, we're moving from left to right. This means 63,107 is less than 63,177. And we proved that here. All right, let's look here. Line up the decimals. All right, compare. Both are zeros. All right, here, compare. Whoops, 0 is less than 1. I don't have to move any farther. I already have my answer. 0 is less than 1. So this number is less than this number. And on the last one, you probably already see it. I can add a 0 here without changing its value. Look, I can tell by looking at it, it's the same number. So I know that this is an equation. These are all inequalities. This one, this side is equal to this side. All right, tonight on your homework guide, here are your practice problems. What goes in the circle? Be sure you write these on your homework guide so that you can see them the next day and fill in the circle with either greater than, less than, or equal to. And we'll check them tomorrow. Let me know if you have any problems and we'll talk about it in class tomorrow. Okay? Thanks. Good luck.